Go, right, hi everyone. I thought I'd do a quick video. I just got back from, well, I've been back a couple of days and I uploaded the thing about Devon yesterday, but I thought I'd do a quick update. Sun was out, but it's been covered up now. Yeah, just charging some of my crystals and my water. So yeah, just wanted to do a quick update, really, because I haven't done one in a while. Well, I have, but I went down to Devon in it, so yeah, flowers are coming up, so I won't sit on them. It is. It is. Get your bum out of the way. Come here then. I haven't been here for the week. It's been really weird, yeah. They've all been sick. All my dogs have been sick since I come back. Yeah, since I've come back, they've all been like throwing up. So, yeah, we went to see my mate Ben. I haven't seen him for a couple of years. He was, I won't talk about him too much just in case you don't want me to say, but he was addict as well, like quite bad in many ways. But we stopped talking when he went down on his dip. Like, I tried to help him for quite a while. And yeah, we was quite close, like we've travelled a lot together and things like that. And yeah, we used to we've brushed paths with a few dark places, let's say, in the past. And yeah, we were both there for certain reasons, is what I know now. And yeah, he's a good friend of mine. People in my past haven't liked me seeing him, but you know, it's my life and who I decide to see, and I know he has a good heart, and I do as well. So, you know, we get put in these places, like you get the brightest stars in some of the darkest places, don't you? And this is what I see, like when I come up to any sorts of energies, no matter what they are, you can just filter them and eat them up, because everything you look at is hue. Like Kelly, when I see that place yesterday, you're like, I feel naked, but what is naked? Like, because I'm different colour to this colour or that colour, so everything's just multiple places of colour, isn't it? So, yeah. I went to see Elle, so I went to Devon. I just want to talk about something that happened to me at Victoria first as well. So, I left here on Friday night. So I was down in Devon for like 6 days or something like that. Ben's still sorting out the van at the moment, so he's living out of that at the moment. And we're going to do filming here and there. I don't know, we might meet back up again and go travelling, but I was just popping down to see him. I've had to like let him intake the information, and then I've had to give him some space to like absorb, because he was still drinking a bit. So he stopped drinking now, and he wanted to go vegan, change his diet, because his mum and his sister are both cancer signs, and they're both vegan as well. And his sister's quite a like semi-famous musician. Like, she wrote a chord for 07. It's like this famous guitar speech. She still gets like loads of money for it from TV adverts and stuff now. But so yeah, her kids go to like one of the main cathedral schools of music, and his family is very musical orientated. Like, I've known him since I was like 16. But anyways, so I went down to see him because he's been clean for a couple of years now. Well, he's just given up the alcohol, so he's going completely total now. So I'm just supporting him here and there. And between us, we've got a lot of contacts throughout London, like even more than I had on my own, in music and like in the arts as well. So I left here on Friday. It took me about 5-6 hours to get down there, but I left here and had to go to London Victoria. Yeah, and then I came back like I came back on a train and got down on a train, but when I went through there first, so I'm getting those downloads, this is just like this video, stream or not. Sun's come back out. So yeah, I went down there, went through Victoria, and as soon as I got to Victoria, like, I left here, I'd had a glass of cacao with some honey in it, because I knew I needed a bit of extra sugar for the journey. So I went, and I already was like getting bits of anxiety before I'd left, and so I knew that I was aligning with something that was going to happen down there. I didn't realise that the place I was going to was near Europe's biggest mental hospital either, and like there's a few other, like, I didn't realise Devon was full of the red rock either, which is like older than Jurassic, so I was like aligning with quite a lot of the energy grids down there, because I haven't been down there for ages yet. I haven't been down there in years. Like, I've only been down there like once or twice as well, and it wasn't even to look around the place like I did this time. And obviously elder shamans down there as well, so went to London Victoria. And I want to say to like Mr. D in the mix now, I love you guys, because you're down there every day, but I couldn't get on the underground. And like, I used to run bars and stuff in Covent Garden. Like, I used to be out about, I used to be like a complete social butterfly, like 24/7, like all the time. I would always be out. And then, yeah, I got to London Victoria. Obviously I haven't been in town in quite a while. Like, I've just been here, like, changing my shape and form, changing all my intakes. So I knew it was going to be a big journey, but I knew I was going to do it anyway. I got to London Victoria, and like the week before, you know, I'd been eating right, I'd been using my crystal waters, using everything was right with me. I got on walks for hours and hours here, so my fitness, everything was all right. I wasn't due on yet or anything like that, so I just thought I'd have a bit of extra sugar, which I now spoke to Elle about, could have been the cacao. But when I got to Victoria, I was like, hadn't printed out my ticket, but I had it, like, pictures of it on this iPad, like, taken. I was trying to find music to take with me to put in so I could shut off everything outside, but none of my musical devices that I could get a hold of in the house were working. So I was like, okay, I'm not meant to obviously take music, so I took all my crystals with me. I took like a suitcase full of stuff, like paint stuff, so I could do an art day with indigo and that. I took like all my crystals, I took all my lighting with me to do like the UV and everything like that, and then I took like some extra stuff to bring stuff back as well. As I know, I always carry rock Devon with me. I'm like, carry around all my different crystal grids out with me, and it just carrying around bags and bags of rocks, fairly heavy. But so yeah, I got there, and the guy in the train was trying to print my ticket, and the thing just kept going round and round in circles. He said it ain't going to print, so he said, all right, get to London Victoria, go to platform 5 and see this guy. There was this one like half-caste guy sitting in there being a right dick. Wouldn't print my ticket for me because I didn't have the bank card. I said, I don't have a phone on me, I don't have a bank card. I said, I'm going to this place. My mate then has paid £132 for me to get a ticket, which is an absolute joke in the first place. And so he wasn't printing my ticket. So I said, I've just paid £132, you're not going to print my ticket. As I was in the state of passing out, so I almost passed out about 5 times in London Victoria, right? And this was showing me something, because I think there's something common online underneath it. There's definitely something common online underneath London Victoria. And it's right near Buckingham Palace. Like, I'm not even far from there now, I'm 35 minutes from here. So as soon as I got to Devon, I felt like I could breathe, you know? I was like everything just lifted. So since I'm here all the time, yes, I'm in nature, yes, and all this, but I'm still connected to them ley lines at like 30 minutes away from here. You're straight into London Victoria. Now, when I got there, so I was dealing with this guy. So it was on the train. It started when I was pulling into London Victoria. It was like as I went through BriXton. Now, like, I've done quite a few paintings inside houses in Brixton High Street. I've had quite a lot of friends live there, so I've always hanged out there quite a bit. And like in my past, when I was out, when I was drinking, doing all the flaring and the live art, the pop-up restaurants, I was going in and out of Brixton quite a lot. So I knew there was like some significance to that place. But it was as I was pulling into Brixton and then just pulling into London Victoria, so it started like here. And I started like, so I passed out a couple of times before with my Indo and things like that, but like I said, I wasn't due on or anything like that, so I was a bit shocked that it happened. So I'm still trying to figure out now why, and I reckon it could have been a mix of the cacao, and obviously it was Friday night. I was probably aligning with where I was going, and my body's quite pure, so imagine all the people around me, like they would have had maybe paracetamol, like coffee, they would have had sugar, they would have had, you know, McDonald's or all these other different things in the body. They would have been drinking like plastic bottles of water. They probably wouldn't have had like crystal charged water or eaten like fresh vegan food that's all been charged, you know. So I see myself as quite a pure instrument in ways. Like, I see myself as going against like a grain of the sea, like one drop in the sea going the opposite way and everyone go this way sometimes. I'm not saying everyone, but compared to where I was there, yeah, because it was Friday night, so everyone was drinking in the bars there, everyone was trying to rush home, everyone was going out for the weekend, you know, dressed up. And then there's me turned up with all my crystal grid, basically, and so I must have been like a moving portal, is how I see it. So I was trying to get my ticket, so as I got off the train, I saw someone's mum that I knew, and as I tapped into energy, it managed to ground me back into my body, because I was standing there with all my stuff on the train, and I was fine most of the train journey, and then as soon as I hit BriXton, I was just getting like pulled out my body. And now this happened to me in Ash Church up the road here. I passed out in a church at one of the farmers' funerals, and I like didn't feel well for 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden I got pulled out my body, and I just collapsed on the floor in the middle of the funeral service. So this happened to me at Victoria almost, like it was the same energy, like I was being pulled out my body. And I was struggling to ground my energy because I had all my stuff. Obviously, I'm trying to negotiate in 3D, and you know everything was like hitting me different. And then I went up to the half-caste guy to get my ticket. He was like, no, you have to go over there. So I went over to the information desk. I said, look, I've got this is ridiculous. I said, I'm literally on the verge of passing out. I'm not feeling well right now. I need to like ground my energy. I need to get my ticket and get to Devon. I said, as soon as I get out of London at rush hour, I'll probably be all right. But I knew that if I got on a tube, I probably would have passed out, so I couldn't get on a tube. So I was sitting at London Victoria, then I found these two women, so I went and sat with them and was like, look, I'm not feeling well, I need to ground my energy, can I just sit with you a minute so I can ground, then I can go. So this just kept happening to me, and as this was happening to me, I'm trying to figure it out. So I'm looking at the building, I'm looking here, and like, I just kept going in and out. But every time someone was talking to me with eye contact, I was fine, I was being grounded in my body. So I think there's something like a portal or a Stargate or something going on underneath London Victoria, because we know that there's, I know for a fact, because I know a few Masons, and some of them have told me already, that there's massive chambers underneath, caverns underneath like the Natural History Museum. So I know they're already under there. And yeah, anyway, this went on for a while. Like, I went down to the underground, there was some people being rude to me down there as well, because I weren't feeling well. Like, they're dealing with tourists all the time, so they don't care. It's like the same as people in hospitals, seeing people in pain or being stabbed or blood or half in not a good way. They get used to seeing it all the time. It's the same with the people in the tube. They get used to foreigners, you know, not understanding or not being well with all this stuff, so they become almost numb to it, some people there. So they're not always good to help in situations like this. They look at you like you're dumb or silly, or they don't understand the full scope of the places that's tapping into, or even what's going on underneath there. But they're also meant to not be tapping into these places, because they wouldn't be able to be there like me all the time. I wouldn't want to be there all the time, because I know exactly what's going on around these places. And this is the thing, because underneath there probably is massive caverns. London, Victoria. Think of how much shit has gone over there in the years. Think of how many people say goodbye, how much love, how much, you know, all these things in the train stations. They're like places where people meet and greet and say goodbye and come and go. And I think these are really important things that we need to be looking at too, because they're like crossovers of energies. And then the train lines as well. So I was looking at all the symbolism. And then, wait, I finished my Victoria story first. So I ended up meeting this really lovely lady. This was like the last one. So I spoke to a guy who tried to get me down to talk to people on the tube, and they said I had to get the bus, and I agreed. If I got on the tube, I would have passed out, because every time I went off on my own, I couldn't ground my energy. And this is why I love you, Mr. D, and Chris, your mate Chris, if you're watching, because you guys are still quite woke and you're there all the time. This is part of your mission, literally just to be there and be on a level, do you know what I mean? Just grounding the energies that I'm giving out and things like that, because my energy on that tube was just not, I couldn't deal with it. And I've got on it before with my mum in the past, on a tube when we went to the place in Islington where I caught the black goo, and she had to hold me up around the pole on the tube then, because I was like, couldn't deal with whatever the energies were in the tube. So I don't know what they got going on around there. Like, I know in Holborn underneath they've got some ET bases under there. So I just wanted to let everyone know that I really feel like something had to change, that Victoria, like something was coming online underneath. And then when I left, so I ended up meeting this really nice lady in the end, who also had been like vegan, vegetarian for over 20 years. She must have been like 50 odd. And she helped me get a bus ticket downstairs, and she was carrying all my stuff. She was like cuddling, she gave me a cuddle when I was crying, you know. And she had also had operation on her womb. So she had endometriosis similar to me. She was the only person that helped me, properly helped me. And she sat with me at the bus stop, you know, and we were talking, and she was holding my arm, and I was talking to her about my endo, and she said she's only just started taking iron tablets herself recently as well, to ground her also, because I was talking about grounding. Like, I was quite surprised how everyone understood what grounding meant when I spoke to random people at the station. They all understood what I meant. So I don't know if this is like a regular thing now for people, you know, being more spoken about with the mental health and things like that, you know. But what is it? Because I wasn't scared to read. I didn't feel fear, but yet I was just being pulled out my body because of how much was going on around me. So was I pure enough to tap into something below there? Anyways, I got on the bus, so this was the 36 going to Paddington Station, because I went to Paddington Station after that, and yeah, then it goes through like Bristol, through there, and some places I was going, I was feeling sick or not feeling sick, but as soon as I got on the bus, it was going through more Arab places. From London Victoria, it was going to Queen's Park, so it went around Westminster, where you got the main like courts and stuff like that, and then obviously you've got like Hyde Park Corner. Actually, after a gay pride once, I ended up in the Queen's Army barracks where the Queen's stables were, in all the army clothes with all the lads who was putting on gay pride. That was pretty funny. They sneaked me in the army barracks through all the security at like 6 in the morning, and I ended up with a drumming horse in its stables after gay pride. It was pretty funny. So yeah, I do know them areas a little bit, do you know what I mean? But when I went through there this time, I still felt sick on the bus the whole way round. Like, I just kept seeing the Prince's Pharmacy, all these names linked to like Arabic, and then which I found was weird, where I was feeling the energy still round London Victoria, and then it went as I got to Paddington, and then I was fine. I had like a 2.5 hour journey from Paddington out of there, and that was fine. Then when I got to Exeter, so I got off at Devon and went to Exeter, and then I got on the train again and went to Dawlish. And then Ben met me in his van there, and then when we woke up we was literally on the beach, so like the beach was here, the sea was out, the tide came in, and then our bus was like here, and then there were waves like hitting onto the bus when I woke up in the morning, and that was like right near the Europe's biggest mental home, which I woke up and he told me that was there. And you know, so there was a few things I was aligning with on the way. Didn't feel good going through Bristol, not gonna lie, I need to go and see someone there soon as well. And yeah, it was really beautiful, you know, went all around Devon. I got a lot of the red rock. I went to see Elle. I left quite a lot of stones around the Dawlish Mental Hospital. I picked up a few of these from around it as well, because this is some of the red rock. So this is all quartz basically. So I picked these bits up just to put in some of my paintings for crystal grids, but a lot of it is quite quartzy, quite shiny. Like, all the place down there is just full of stuff like this, you know. A lot of it. A lot. So yeah, but it just felt like there was a lot of love down there. Like, it didn't feel too heavy. Like, it felt really light. Like, I felt so light when I was down there, you know. I didn't sleep so great in some locations we stayed in. We went to Glastonbury Tour as well, which is the heart chakra of the UK, which I don't think it is. I don't feel enough energy there. Like, obviously a lot of people put energy there, but I think it's just a distraction, because every time I hear people talk about it or go there, it never comes back to me to look at that place. So, but I've never been up the top, so we went there. I took one of my massive stones from Scotland, and as soon as we got up there were 2 lads up there who obviously lived there. One of them had lived there for like 20-something years, and he was like, "Oh, are you putting that stone here?" And I said yes. And then the older guy come over to me, was talking. They looked just like hippies, you know, just hanging out up there. They must see a lot of spiritual people leaving stones there and stuff, so they came over to talk to me. "You leave that here?" I said yeah. Ended up giving it to the guy who was actually making a crystal grid out for the public at the bottom of the tour. He'd been making it for like a year, I think, and he was putting it out on display for a couple of years now. And he basically took it and was like, "I was born in Scotland, he's from like Ullapool," and he's literally going to put it in the main centrepiece of it. So I literally turned up there just at the right time, you know, just at the right time for him to put it down. And then we went to Elle's place. I met up with Indigo, her daughter. We did some art. It was absolutely an amazing day. I don't really want to post loads on here because obviously it is with kids and stuff like that. So not all of them I want to post on social media, you know, because I'm still working. Like, they're the most connected to source, so they're the ones I want to listen to at the moment. I want to hear their voice come through in whatever ways they've been taught to let it out, which would be art and frequency, you know, art and music. So, yeah, we was driving around. It felt like I'd been put, like, in my little guru room, because Ben was, like, driving the truck, and then I was in the back, and, you know, I was playing music through these huge speakers, and we were, like, editing. And then I was just sitting in the back. I had all my salt lamps lit up around me. Oh, did you see the butterfly? All the crystal grid around me, you know, and then I was just like meditating, and it was like I was in my room doing all my work, but being mobile, being moved around, but still being within this space, so my energy would have spread throughout the whole of Devon, just going around in the van, which was really cool. So yeah, and then when I went back through Victoria, obviously Elle told me it was the cacao. Obviously I'd opened my heart chakra, yes, and I didn't have any cacao, you know. Like, I used to drink bottles of JD whiskey and drink men under the table, and get a couple of glasses of cacao opens my heart chakra so much that I can't ground in my body. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, and then we look at purple, and it's on Cadbury's, isn't it? No wonder all these people have addictions to chocolate, because it literally vortexes the heart into a massive open funnel when it's pure enough to handle it, without the milk crossing it over. And yeah, the River X, we got moved on from the River X as well by some police that came over. And that was on a castle, another castle grounds where they have like BBC Radio 1 parties and things like this. And they had like really rare type of deer there and things like that. So we stopped there for a bit on the River X. And you saw about my last video, I'm talking about the things with X's, places with X's in the title, and 2 E's as well. And then you have Exeter, which is E-X-E. So it's literally like X marks the spot, done it with the 2 EEs either side. Yeah. And yeah, obviously a lot of the layouts keep linking back to the eye. So I did tap into a lot of the people in the mental hospital there. And I felt a lot of love when I was there. So Devon to me is quite a stunning place. My friend Ben's got a big valley down there too. So he owns his house, but he's separate, he's got rid of that. Well, he hasn't dealt with it yet, but he's got a valley that his dad owned that he inherited, and then he bought plots of land around it whilst he was alive as well. So he's inherited like a massive valley. So we're going to look at adding that onto all our other plots of land as well. And he's very good with the 3D, very good with reading like the small print, let's say the small print. But he's also very emotional, very creative. So he's like me in a masculine form. We get along really well. So I've given him a few like things to look at that I think would help him pinpoint what we're going to put together, and he's going to help me start managing a few things, so I can still like step back a bit and do my art, and it can still be running in other ways. And he understood a lot about the pigments, and he'd also DJ'd a few sets of music which sounded really 2020, like really good. He'd put like an undertone into the boom 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 into the house beat, which affects the heart chakra. So yeah, I got given this from Guatemala too, which is Mayan land, which is from the volcanoes there, by Elder Shaman, to put in my paint. It's actually got a lot of crystalline in it too. So yeah, got this done there too. As you know, I've been talking a lot about my piece I got given by Kirsty. Come on, focus. We're in late now. It's got a lot of shine in it. There's loads of these in Glastonbury actually. But yeah, it's kind of like spiritual touristy down there. Don't really like that way. But anyway, I went in all the crystal shops, charged up all the crystals with all my crystal grit and stuff, so it's cool. Anyway, I'm going to stop ranting now. It's been about 23 minutes, so yeah, a lot of love, and I'll speak to you guys soon.